Hello and welcome to the reading of the week for April 30th to May 7th. We're coming up on May Day, which is such a beautiful time of year. Well, let's get started, shall we? Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm about to do a reading for the collective good. My intention is to be a clear channel for the highest and greatest good of all those listening. To be a clear channel bringing through the information that is most needed right now, to provide the clarity, the upliftment, the empowerment, the discernment that is needed in the hearts and minds of all of those on the planet at this time, and especially those listening now and in the future. My intention is to use language that will be easily and effortlessly heard, understood, and integrated, again, for the highest and greatest good of all those listening and for the greater good of the planet and all those who live on it. I call upon my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening, as well as an overlighting angel of communication to facilitate this exchange and ensure that it happens in a clear, efficient, effective, and uplifting manner for the greatest good of all. At this time, I'd like to invite the four archangels to come and hold the four directions around us, creating a sacred container of light, of love, of wisdom, of healing, of transformation, of empowerment, of everything that is in our collective heart and mind at this time, that is for our greatest good. That this container be held across time and space wherever you might be. Know that you are part of our circle. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for being with us today. We set the tone for ease, for clarity, for love, for light, for transformation, for beauty, for healing, for all the good things that are in our collective hearts and minds at this time. And anything that doesn't match these frequencies is welcome to go now. This reading is in the service of the greatest aspects of humanity. Okay, so let's see what the energies of the week will be. What do we need to know collectively for the coming week? Okay. Let's go, shall we? Recent past, the influence is waning, but it continues into our present, into our future. The card of force. Is this like one of our favorite cards? I must say, it keeps showing up in these readings again and again and again, and often in the personal readings that I do as well. And I find it so interesting because, of course, this is the card of pruning. This is about using our intention, our will, our focus, our mind and our actions to take action in a good way. This isn't force as in like dominating. This is in using our intention and our will and our actions to clear the way, to remove excess, to move us in a direction that gets rid of the garbage in our lives. So the pruning, the clearing, the cleaning, as I said, pruning. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm a gardener. I think about pruning when I see this card because I think of an overgrown shrub that needs some love and attention. And you have to remove all the dead, diseased, and crossing branches in order to bring light and air into the center of the plant. And then you have to look at the structure of the plant and judiciously prune away other branches that might be growing into the center and blocking the light, going against the flow of the plant, so to speak, and then to enhance the structure of the plant. It has to be done if you want that plant to thrive. I mean, it'll continue to grow, but it'll probably be all mangled if you don't do that. And so this is sitting in our recent past, and this is the energy that is influencing our reading this week and continues into our reading this week. So this idea of pruning, of clearing your life from excess or unuseful energies, distractions, things that don't serve you, pulling your energy and your attention away from that, cutting that out of your life, cutting that, this can include relationships. I know there's been a lot of upheaval in people's personal lives and relationships. I guess that's what, staying at home with your loved ones does. But it brings things to the surface, things that need to be looked at and addressed and cleared up. And sometimes it means that those relationships go out of your life. And it's okay. It's okay. It's part of our human dance. And at this time, with the amount of light that's on the planet at this time, the change that's happening on the planet at this time, we really need to cut away the dead wood. And we need to really focus on putting our life force, our energy, and our attention on that which we're here to do, to be the best expression of ourselves that we can be, to be fully expressed, and to give our gifts beautifully to the planet. So that's the energy of the recent past. Our present card is the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I don't know if we've seen this one in the time that we've been together on these readings, these recordings. The Wheel of Fortune is a really great card. It's all about this energy of cycles. It's all about the energy of what we put into the world, we will reap from the planet. We will reap from our experience. So it's very much this idea of personal responsibility. I mean, the tarot really is a narrative about taking responsibility for oneself and understanding that we are powerful co-creators with the energy of life, that we are life embodied, having a divine experience, and that we have to take responsibility and realize that everything in our field is something that we've pulled towards us. And this card is a reminder of that. It's this Wheel of Fortune. It's what goes around comes around. What you reap, so shall you sow, that sort of energy. So that idea of wheels, of cycles, of the continual unfolding of life, but this idea also of responsibility, of being mindful. What are you putting into your field, and what do you think you'll get out of it? And so putting more love, more gratitude, more appreciation into your field means that you will reap more of that there will be more opportunities to be appreciative, more opportunities to be grateful, more opportunities to appreciate and love the beauty in life, and to have good experiences, good people, good opportunities come your way. So when we start to take on this dance of consciousness, when we start to take on our dance with life, and we give up the idea that we're just victims, that we're at the random effect of chance, that life happens at us and there's nothing we can do about it, we start to enter into this very exciting place of learning who we are and understanding what we have to give to life, and then engaging with life from that place. And so the Wheel of Fortune is in our present, this idea of as you sow, so shall you reap. This idea of what are you putting into your field? What are you putting into your life that will come back to you? It's good to reflect on. The near future, romance. We have that lovely card of romance. The romance with life, our dance with life, our love of our life experience here. We're here to have a glorious, glorious experience. And again, like any relationship, what are you bringing to life? What are you bringing to your relationship with life? Are you loving it? Are you appreciating it? Are you celebrating it? Are you honoring it? All of those things, when you have a relationship with another human being, it's about seeing them, loving them, appreciating them, honoring them, bringing our best forward. I mean, we're human. We're going to fall in the hole. That's okay. But this idea of bringing our good to each other, bringing all that we are to our relationship with each other, and knowing that, when you're in a good relationship, when you're in a good partnership, that dynamic often brings out the best in us. If you know that dynamic, if you recognize the dynamic is not bringing out the best in you, that's an important distinction and a really good one to have, and to ask yourself, why is that? And to look at that and get curious. Don't make yourself wrong, because that's pointless. That's just a waste of life force. But get curious and wonder about that. So this is the near future, the card of romance, this card of partnering with life, partnering with ourselves, being in love with life, and fostering that relationship. Again, this idea of what are you putting out there? That's what you'll receive. It takes two to tango in a relationship. And life is generous and abundant and always there for us. And in return, what are we giving back of ourselves? How are we bringing what is in us to life? How are we sharing who we are? And this little retune of looking at life as a romance, it's a subtle distinction. It's a subtle shift in how you perceive your life and how you perceive your relationship to life, but it can make all the difference in how you enjoy your experience. And as such, it can be quite delightful. You start to see the numbers on the clock, the 11s and the 11s, or all the numbers lining up, 4444. How many? 444. Sorry, I had to say that again. And see those as little signs of, as a friend likes to call them, God winks. These little signs that you are loved, that life is with you, and that all is well. So yeah, look for the romance in your life and seek to cultivate it. Seek to enhance your love of life and your enjoyment of life. Foundation of the reading for this week. Why are we having the reading? It's this Princess of Swords. And so it's about messages, incoming new beginnings, and the level of ideas and action. So she's received a message, she's received a letter, she's reading it very keenly. She has a very interested look on her face. And here's a butterfly, and then there's these like golden orbs floating around her. There's this energy of newness, of fresh starts, of inspiration, of this possibility space, a new headspace, a new way of looking at life. That's what the foundation of the reading is about this week. That's what we're looking at this week in our cards, is this new, fresh opportunity, direction, way of thinking, way of conceiving. As I was saying here, by reframing your experience with life as a relationship, of a romantic one, it transforms how you dance with life. And something so small can be so powerful. That's what this talks up to. How we need to conduct ourselves. Ooh, the devil. Ha ha ha. It's one of the scary cards. Okay, so the devil. Sorry, don't mind me. The devil. This is the card of deluding ourselves. It can often relate to addictions. Oh, I don't have a drinking problem. I just like to have a drink every night, or whatever it is. Or smoking isn't a problem. I could quit at any time. Or, oh yeah, I don't have an eating issue. Whatever it is. These things that we do that don't necessarily serve us and limit us and keep us small. The other octave of the devil is believing that the three-dimensional is all there is. Believing that you in this body, having this three-dimensional experience and the limitations of the physical form are all that is. And being stuck in a materialistic, reductionistic perspective. That's the higher octave of the devil. So this is sitting in how we need to conduct ourselves. And it's a major arcana. It has to do with our soul growth. We need to transcend this three-dimensional reality. And often when we're addicted, it's because we're numbing some part of ourselves that knows there's more. We know there's something more, but we've been talked out of it by our society, or convinced out of it by our society. We're not listening to our heart. We're not listening to the broader, wiser part of us. And it creates this well within us that we seek to fill some other way. And so understanding that we are spiritual beings having spiritual beings having a human experience, that we are so much more than just these physical bodies, these meat suits, as my friends like to call them. We can transcend the limitations of this earth experience. We can transcend the perceived limitations and have a much richer, broader perspective, a much richer, broader understanding of our experience here on the planet, and have a happier life ultimately when we transcend this limiting thought form. Now, it's important to understand that the obstacles that come our way, which are often, the devil is the obstacle. It's this limitation, this control, this thing. We have to realize that it's there for a reason, that this has come into our field for a reason. It's here to teach us something. It's here to help us become aware of something. And when we have that awareness, ultimately we realize that the devil is in service to us, that those limitations, those perceived blockages, those perceived things that are outside of ourselves, or we perceive them to be outside of ourselves, that limit us, we realize that they are there to help us transcend the limitations. They're there to help us understand how great we are, how broad we are, how wise we are, how divine we are in our human form. Always an opportunity when the devil shows up. Always an opportunity to become more than we were, to remove the chains of limiting beliefs and become the God self that we are, embodied in human form, co-creating magnificently in this incredible experience of life, this gift of love being embodied in this form at this time. So this is sitting in the position of how we need to conduct ourselves. How are we limiting ourselves? How are we deluding ourselves? How are we making ourselves small to fit into an external narrative rather than understanding that we are so much more than this? We are conscious, becoming conscious, co-creators with life. We are here having a divine experience in human form. And it's part of our collective soul growth. That's why it's a major arcana, just like this one. Major arcanas are talking about your soul growth, your reason for being here. It's a bigger thing, a bigger opportunity. It's calling to your bigness, to your soulness, to be more embodied. This is about the awareness piece of what you're putting into life. And this is how are you limiting yourself, and how can you remove those chains of limitations that you've put on yourself to understand that life is so much more, and to open your consciousness. And this, I think, is very much apropos what, we're getting all the time these days in our media. The stories, the narratives that are being thrown around. It's a very three-dimensional way of looking at life. We have to expand beyond this. We have to understand that there's more to life than this three-dimensional perspective of human form. Okay. How others are going to be? Planning. It's a good card. I like this card. I guess I'm an efficiency kind of person. So, this shepherd has climbed to the top of the nearest hill and can see in every direction, and so knows which direction to take the flock in, which would be the best direction to take the flock for the next segment of the journey, of the experience. So it's this pausing, pulling oneself to a higher perspective and looking out on one's journey, one's field, one's life. What direction do you want to go in? Where do you want to be taking your resources, your life force, your energy? It's a generative card. It's wands. It's about creativity, inspiration, and passion. You need to look at the lay of the land of your life and ask yourself, where do I want to be going? Where do I want to take my resources, my attention, my energy, my life force? What do I want to be doing with that? This is the quality of the Two of Wands card, and it's sitting in the position of others. And so what I get out of this is the idea that others are in this state of planning. They're looking at their capacity to co-create with the planet, their capacity, what they have to give to the planet, what it is that they're inspired and excited by, and the changes that are coming to the planet at this time. And so people are planning. They're taking stock of their life, they're evaluating their life, and they're deciding where are they putting their energy, their life force, their resources, their spark. And because we're the other in other people's experience, it's calling to us as well to do this. Where do you want to put your life force? This beautiful planet that we're on, and the changes that we're in the midst of, and the upheaval that we're in the midst of, and really life could go in many different ways. And there's such a lot of chaos and there's such a lot of craziness going on. I mean, truly, it's mind-boggling. Who knew we would ever get to this point? But this card is all about, dropping the distractions and redirecting your focus into your experience. Where do you want to go? How are you going to lay down your intentions, your plans to sow? What are you going to sow so that you shall reap in a way that is abundant, joyful, satisfying, uplifting, and generous? I mean, what do you want? These two cards are very close together. And again, it's the card of others, but we are the other in other people's experience. So we need to remember for ourselves this planning piece, this determining where we're going to take our life force, our gifts, our abilities, how we're going to hone them and train them and develop them and contribute them. This laying down of our life, the path that we want to follow. It's such a gift. When we all do this, when we all honor our inner knowingness and we do this, the journey becomes smooth. We meet the people we're here to meet because we've set our intentions. And intentions are powerful vibratory forces that cause us to resonate in harmony with all those who are in harmony with our vision and our intention and our planning. So take that to heart, please. And the outcome for this week, the card of the sun. Ugh, another favorite card of mine. So the sun, this is the card of, there's a few cards that represent high summer, and this is one of them. It's this beautiful, abundant, generous energy. The sun is the source of all life. All of our energy comes from the sun. We are so privileged to be the recipient of this life force energy. But there's also an intelligence that comes from the sun, the intelligence information. It's like we're being fed information from the rays of the sun. I know that sounds really woo-woo, but let's just go with me. So the sun is this incredible, it's the star, the center of our galaxy, the center of our solar system. And like all the other stars around it, it's emanating waves of energy. And that energy is information. And it's as I said, it's the fuel of our lives. It's information, it's useful, it's lively, it gives us our life force, it feeds us, it nourishes us. The sun is very, very important. And so this card represents this idea of regeneration, of this idea of humanity evolving, of light becoming part of us, and us waking up to that and understanding it, and understanding that we are vessels of light, and we can add to our light by what we eat, how we be, how clean we keep our lives, circulating outside in the fresh air, eating lots of leafy green vegetables that are full of that are freshly grown and that are local to us. All of that feeds our light force and our life force as a result. And we become transformed as a result of that. It changes our biology. It changes our DNA. We feed ourselves crap. We feel like crap. We feed ourselves good food. We feel so much better. And we are moving in towards more light like that. So maybe it's time to start reframing our experience in terms of, will this add more life and light to my body? And start making choices from that place instead. But the outcome, what we're moving towards, is this beautiful energy of awakening, this beautiful energy of becoming more, this beautiful energy of regeneration, of evolution, of humanity growing up and becoming more than we were. And there's this huge transformative energy that's happening on the planet right now. And all the chaos, all it is a reflection of the rate of change that is happening on the planet as well. And this desire to contain and control it, it's like the old has to die. The old has to go. And in the light that we're moving through right now, there's a different kind of radiance that's hitting the planet at this time. And anything that's been in the dark is coming to the light, because that's how it gets transformed, including us. So this is the outcome of the reading for this week, is this beautiful light energy. And I encourage you to seek ways to build your light. There are wonderful Qigong practices that are all about moving the Qi through the body and building light in the body. I really believe that so many of these moving meditations, it's the same idea. Spending time in nature, drinking lots of clean, fresh water, blessing it before you consume it. Thank the water. I mean, why not? Bless the food before you eat it. Thank those who grew it. Thank those who made it possible for you to have that food. Bringing that mindfulness into every moment. This is part of, as you sow, so shall you reap. What are you doing with your life? Are you blessing your life? Are you loving your life? Are you loving your food? Are you loving your water? Are you taking deep breaths and being grateful and appreciative for that? Thanking the earth for all of its beautiful abundance. There's so much that we can do to bring our light up, to bring more consciousness into our daily experience. It's up to us. We get to choose. We get to choose. And we can have this beautiful romance with life. We can have that by becoming more intentional and conscious in every moment. Yeah, this is a really, really good reading. I'm really liking it. The pruning away of the old, the awareness, releasing ourselves from these limiting awarenesses so that we can become this greater human experience, this greater expression of what it means to be divinity embodied in a human form, and that we can take a powerful hand in it, take responsibility for ourselves, understand that we are the ones creating our experience and co-creating powerfully from that awareness, and choosing love, choosing it all the time. Yeah, really good cards. I'm really excited about this reading.